Welcome. I'm District 4 County Commissioner Robert Bender, and this is Bender's Briefings. Today we're talking about some infrastructure projects that we are in the process of or have recently completed in District 4 using our local option sales tax monies. First, we'll talk about the Phase 2 of Olive Road. Phase 1 was complete last spring, and we're working on completing Phase 2 now. And then we'll talk about some of the new parking and access at Pensacola Beach. So please join me as we talk about these important issues to Escambia County. Okay, now we're out at Olive Road where they're realigning Johnson Avenue. For this project, this is known as Phase 2, and I'm here with Scott Sanders, who's overseeing the project. He's been with the county now for about 8 months, previously with the Indian River School District and Vero Beach. So Scott, welcome. Thank you for coming out this morning.
Thanks for having me. It's a great day to be out.
So what do we see going on behind us right now?
So directly behind us, what you see is the realignment of the roadway that we're going to tie into Harbor Square. We'll have a traffic light there. This is part of the widening project, but this is taking care of some traffic issues and some crash data that showed in the past. So trying to get that safed up.
I think that's one thing we've heard is that as drivers are turning off of Johnson Avenue on Olive Road, it was difficult to see the cars coming up the hill. It was somewhat of a blind curve, and so we're just moving at a couple hundred feet to the west, but it'll be more of a straightaway. Plus the addition of the traffic signal, this should really help alleviate the safety concerns there.
Correct. It'll bring it in behind the store. It used to come around and come at kind of a funny angle at Circle K. Now it'll be a 90-degree intersection. It'll align with the roadway straight across, and it makes a good use for a traffic signal at that location.
And then those that are familiar with coming down Johnson Avenue and getting to the Circle K, they'll still be able to do that, and it'll just be the road will be pulled up between Olive and the end of their parking lot, correct?
That's correct. So there'll be a stopgap from where you turn off at Johnson now to the new intersection, and then the existing asphalt will be cut loose basically at the property line of Circle K. So there'll be a small area of sod, so it won't connect via asphalt. But at the store itself, they'll still have full use and function as they did before with access off of Olive.
And then, of course, one of the other things that we've done with this project is improve the drainage. And we see that this holding pond behind us looks like it's almost doubled in size. And I think that's to help with the widening of Olive and really help with the flooding issues around this area.
Correct. So when we widen the road and we add bike lanes and we add sidewalks, that creates impervious area. So we have to accommodate that additional runoff. So we did increase the drainage. For the most part, the drainage work that we did is just to accommodate the roadway improvements, but we did grab some of the additional drainage concerns that we had in the neighboring areas. And Phase 1 has been open, I think, almost for a year now. I think that from all the feedback I've received was that the project has done what as it was intended to do. When we've had major rain events, my office has not gotten the calls that I think we used to get talking about the flooding. And so it's great to see that the great work that's happened down there, the improvements that were made have worked, and that those will continue as we move east along Olive Road. True. We've had good success with that cross section. The remainder of the project will look almost exactly the same. It's the same cross section with bike lanes, with sidewalks, with the bi-directional turn lane in the middle. A little bit wider asphalt area, so we create better sight distances, better intersections, separation between traffic and pedestrians and bikes, and we had a lot of success, and we will continue to have that same success on this next section.
Speaking of length of project, how are we doing? What's our time frame look like to have this project complete?
The contract completion date right now is July of 2020, but as everyone probably knows, we did have some rain delays. We anticipate having some change orders come in to accommodate those rain delays, so right now we're about a 30-day delay. Hopefully we can make up some of that time, but it looks like we'll probably be another month, possibly a little more depending on weather.
So just to put this in perspective, we're still about a year and a half out before this project's fully complete. And some of the other delays that we've seen associated with this project, the traffic detours, we feel that at least along Olive, that the week-long detours are over, but it's really just going to be the 1 to 2 day delays or detours as we lay down some drainage
across Olive?
Right. There's some small crossings that'll still happen, and those will be done in one-day increments, so we won't have the week-long crossing. The only true road closure that'll last any amount of time will be when we do the realignment of Johnson. Johnson will be closed down for a period of time to get that construction done. But as far as Olive goes, we'll only see small, limited delays and closures.
So I think that's important to know that there will be a lengthy detour off of Johnson, and we'll work with the neighborhoods and also with the Sheriff's Department to make sure that the cars aren't speeding through there, and that the neighborhoods remain safe during the time of construction, and that we have the detour. So, well, thank you so much for coming out today. Is there anything else you want to say about the project, or?
No, just appreciate the support we get and the understanding from everyone out there that we're doing the best we can to make it better for them.
All right, well, thank you so much for working on this project. Welcome to Escambia County. We're happy to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And next, I think we're going out to the beach to talk about the new parking lots that we have out there. Welcome again. We're here with David Forte, Division Manager of Engineering Services. And David, good to see you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you.
Want to talk about some projects that we've recently completed out here at Pensacola Beach. We're actually standing in one of two new parking lots that the beach has. So tell us a little bit about this project and what visitors used to see when they drove onto Pensacola Beach right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again for having me. So if you were coming on to Pensacola Beach, from anyone that is frequent to the beach would have remembered the old Visitor Information Center, the VIC Center is what we call it. It was actually erected here just a few months ago. So if you would have come out here end of last year, first part of this year, you would have seen an actual building. That is no longer the case. We worked with our contractors to actually construct this parking lot that we're standing on now. We have an additional about 33, well not about, we actually have 33 new vehicle parking stalls in what we call the old Visitor Information Center parking lot that we're standing on right now. We were able to squeeze in 14 motorcycle vehicle parking stalls. We have a lot of requests over the years for standalone motorcycle parking, and so now we actually have those here as well. And as well as we actually have improved access into and out of the parking lot. So if you recall, you had to actually access this parking lot just before you got to essentially the building, just back here to the, if you want to call it the north of us. We were able to extend the parking, extend the turn lane right behind us. So if you're coming from via DeLuna and you want to turn onto Fort Pickens Road, you actually have an additional about 50 feet of a right turn lane. And just over to a couple travel lanes to the left of it, we were actually extend the left turn lane to get into the Circle K Flounders parking lot. So all in all, additional parking, new motorcycle parking, and more and improved access into and out of the old Vic Center parking lot.
And I think that's one thing we've been working on, as we said, that we've extended the right turn lane from Pensacola Beach Boulevard into Fort Pickens, and also the left turn lane from Pensacola Beach Boulevard into the Circle K. Again, all hoping that this will help with the traffic congestion problem at the traffic light. And then one project that we completed last year was improving that signal. And so I was able to come into your operations center, see how that operates, see how we can look at the traffic, adjust the timing of the light as needed. Sure. So talk a little bit about that. Well, how we saw a traffic improvement last year after we implemented that technology.
Yeah, absolutely. The technology we installed last year essentially allows us to remote into the traffic signal cabinet, the traffic signals from our office, as compared to sending a technician out, diagnosing the issue, and then fixing it, which obviously costs time and money oftentimes. We now actually can access the red, green, yellow from our office, manipulate based off of the traffic flow at that time. So if we're seeing that Via DeLuna is starting to have a little bit more traffic, we can add more green time from our office to Via DeLuna. It might slightly impact Fort Pickens, but we can sit there and manipulate it as compared to, as I said, sending a technician out and actually having to diagnose and then try to fix it, and then oftentimes getting stuck in traffic to get out to the traffic signal. So
that's what I was going to say, to not have to worry about the beach traffic getting out here to improve it. So that's a great improvement. Now we said we're entering our third season with the new traffic flow in the Casino Beach parking lot. We've made some minor tweaks, it seems like, as we've head into each year. Tell
talk about how that's working out. We feel that is an improvement to the traffic flow and the improvements that we've made last season and then also this season.
Yeah, absolutely. So over the past, I say 10 or so years, there's been a couple studies done about what's best for the area as far as trying to improve the traffic flow in the commercial core area. We've had 2 studies completed. Both engineers or engineer records consultants both recommended trying to modify the circulation within the Casino Beach parking lot, which has the large Pensacola Beach beach ball, in such a way to try to control the traffic rather than having individuals driving essentially anywhere in there, having control on the traffic and trying to be able to access from maybe one main point and then exit from another main point. We did that. There's some normalizing that takes when people are used to a certain traffic pattern. It takes some time to get used to the new pattern, but the feedback we've been receiving since that circulation was done, it actually started going from "what are you doing" to "oh wow, this actually has been an improvement. We actually know what to do at this point," rather than kind of the cross hatching of traffic.
And so then probably another suggestion or comment that we heard a lot was, I can't get into the parking lot from Fort Pickens Road.
Yep.
And also I used to be able to take a right on a Pensacola Beach Boulevard and turn left into the parking lot. And so I think what we just completed has alleviated those issues as well.
That's very true. So that was the one, I guess you can say, downfall or kind of the pushback was we were able to access the Pensacola Beach, Casino Beach parking lot from Fort Pickens Road, as to now we only can get there from Via de Luna. Now with the recent improvements, you actually can get there again from Fort Pickens Road. It's just behind the sheriff's substation now, as compared to where it was in front of the sheriff's substation just relatively last year.
So good to talk about. So with everyone who was familiar where you could once enter off of Fort Pickens Road, that is still the exit only. That is not the entrance. The entrance is further to the west, closer to the Fort Pickens National Park. It's that side on the west side of the sheriff's substation. They would enter, and then they would go on the Gulf side of the sheriff's substation. Then they can enter the western part of the Casino Beach Bar and Grill parking lot area, and then they can enter the main parking lot if they need to do that based on some improvements we made last year. So
that's very true.
Again, we're looking forward to seeing how this season shapes up with this new access. And then also talk about how many parking spots we've opened in that area as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 45 new vehicle parking stalls at the parking lot we just spoke of for general public. There is 35 what we call an official use parking stalls. So if you recall the actual depressed retention pond behind the sheriff's substation, we actually filled that in, though it's still an underground stormwater system. So if you actually park there as one of the deputies or lifeguards or official use vehicles, you're actually still parking on top of an actual retention pond. It's just underground. And so we were able to maximize the space as well as still treat the water and provide additional parking. So it really is a win-win, but we'll continue to monitor and we'll just see how the things move as we move forward.
And I think also with that though was that the initial design, we tweaked it after it first came out to preserve some of the natural areas, the sand dunes that were there. We could have done a little bit bigger parking lot, but again, we have to weigh our conservation and preservation efforts out here. And so we changed the design of that to find that balance of finding parking, but also environmentally friendly. So,
yes,
well, great work on that. Thank you so much. And of course, working to make sure that these areas were open before the parade for Mardi Gras and ahead of spring break, and so that we can use it during the entire season that we're headed into right now. It's tough to get everything done in what we call the shoulder season, or where it's not as busy as it is during the summer, but a great job to you and your staff. So thank you so much for doing that. As David and I were just talking about the new parking lot to the west of the sheriff's substation, the public parking areas are designated by these red brick areas. So we hope that you come out, enjoy them, or the new access from Fort Pickens Road into the Casino Beach parking lot. I want to thank Scott and David for joining me on this first edition of Bender's Briefings, and I look forward to having these throughout my term as your county commissioner. If you have any ideas or suggestions on what you would like to see on one of the upcoming shows, please let my office know. The contact information is listed below. Thank you, and I look forward to serving as your county commissioner.